Okay, on my way to the interview, and Waze says I have 20 minutes here in the car. Let's make it efficient. So why don't I check Hannah's latest vlog on YouTube? Supportive dad. Okay, schedule clarification. It's very important with the rest of my team, not just my own. And Google Calendar on Google Docs will certainly help me make that happen. Just about enough time. Let's make this trip efficient.
Yes, right on time.
Yes, finally here. I'm Anthony Pangilinan, and in this episode of The Boardroom, we connect with a country head of a global search engine that has made it so much easier for all of us to seek and find. In 2013, Google Philippines was launched and has been at the forefront of working towards a stronger, more effective, and more inclusive digital economy in the country. Google Philippines Country Manager Ken Lingan aims to empower all Filipinos with digital know-how so the country can make the most out of the online platform and work towards the growth of digital literacy. With 18 years of experience in marketing and brand development, Ken works to provide meaningful and useful content to every online Filipino. Hi. Hi.
Hi, Anthony. I'm Kim.
Hi, I have an interview with Ken Lingan.
All right, I'll ping him.
Great. This is a live interview, not an online one.
You can have a seat.
Thank you.
Oh, Anthony.
Hey, Ken.
Welcome to Google.
Welcome to the boardroom.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Well,
so what are you doing?
I'm Googling on Google.
Okay, so what do you want to know?
Yeah, can you help me? How do I find out more about Google, but specific questions? And you told me, and I want to see it in action, that
Yeah.
you can also ask verbally.
Correct. So for example,
voice.
if you want to find out who are the founders of Google,
Let's
especially
see
in
how
a,
this
in a
works.
mobile
Okay.
device, people would want to use it's so difficult to use their fingers, so perhaps voice would be much more convenient. So, okay, Google, who are the founders of Google?
Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin.
Yeah. See? This is certainly one of the things that to make it a great experience for you in
Right.
terms of your mobile device.
You're supposed to be the group that manages information for me, organizes information for the world, right?
Yes.
So how does Google help me? Come on. I'm so overwhelmed with so much information. Can you make it simple for me? How does it help me manage
So
information?
we want to make sure that we give you the right content and locally relevant content. So we do that with all our products. So from Google Search, so whatever you type or search queries. That
So it
you
helps
try-
me find things.
Find information or any information that you want, you'll be able to find it in Google Search. right?
Okay.
The second one is with Google Maps. Google Maps now allows you to not just find the right place or where it is, but even help you get to where you want to go from your
Right,
starting point.
right.
So
Okay,
parang
okay,
navigation.
okay.
And of course, YouTube. You know, a lot of the things that people look for are how-to videos. That is also one of the ways that we're giving you that information that is helpful for you, that is exactly what you need, and you do it across all our products.
Now, all of these products are under a certain mission.
Yes.
So what is the Philippine mission? What is the Philippine agenda?
I think for us, for Philippines, it is really more about how do we help digitize the country? How do we help digitize the Philippines? How do we empower every single Filipino, be it a user, a business, a content creator, to really maximize what Google can do for you? And certainly that is not a mission that we could do overnight. It's an ongoing mission, and we're quite excited about it.
Well, I want to find out more from you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to Google it. I want to have a chat with you.
Well, if that's the case, then let's go to the boardroom.
You got it.
Yeah.
Well, after you.
Okay, cool.
So Ken, how does Google Philippines help me manage my information, which is your global mission?
The way we work in it is we wanted to make sure that Filipinos here would get locally relevant content.
Okay, so it's not just global content.
It's not just global
it's
content.
local
Like,
content.
So for example, if you're looking for a food nearby, how do we make sure that the restaurants, the quality of listings are easily accessible to your device? The other thing that we're doing is we know that here in the Philippines, we're a mobile-first country. Most people were now accessing the web to a mobile device. How do we make that a great experience? And that's one of the things that we're doing here for the Philippines.
Is that a local mission for every Google office around the world?
Yeah.
That you be a relevant provider of local content?
It's not just unique to the Philippines, but certainly in every single country. But we do acknowledge that certain countries, like the Philippines, would have some challenges. Let's say bandwidth or connectivity. But so we find ways of even our products could work in a bandwidth-constrained environment.
Is that what inspired you? What was it that made you say, I'm going for Google Philippines?
No, you know, if you look at it, when I was also considering going to Google, I got to know also about the mission of Google. And as I said, organizing the world's information is a very aspirational. It resonates a lot, right? Meaning you've seen, not just for other people, but even personally, how information can be really transformational.
Right.
You've seen people who learn new things, new skills.
So that inspired you when you first were approached to consider.
Yes.
You were talking about an experience in Davao with a family that reinforced that this is really something I want to do.
Yes.
Can you share that again?
Yes. So I think in one family trip out to Davao, I was trying to book a tour for my family. So naturally, I go to Google and look for tours. So I saw this company was offering tours, and I booked it. And this person said, yeah, I'll be there. We're going to have the car, and we'll be all ready. When I finally met the driver, apparently this is not the same person as I talked to.
Third party.
But the guy was saying, you know, I could have gotten a higher pay if perhaps I put my business, my own personal business online.
So how could he do it?
So,
I mean, what was your advice to him, therefore?
First of all, you now have 6 out of 10 Filipinos are now online. So it means that every single business have to be online. If you're not online, then literally you're saying no to majority of the Filipinos. And once you decide to go online, there are many options available, which is not even very expensive. It's free. So we have a platform called Google My Business. All you need to do is register your business. You have a phone number there, and you're easily found on search or in maps.
But then they say na kailangan pag sinerch nandun ka sa taas eh. I mean, again, how do you help a typical entrepreneur starting up to be even within range or within reach of those searching?
Yes. So first and foremost, I think you need to make sure that your content provides the information that people are looking for.
Okay.
So for example, phone numbers, and you should have an insight about what people are looking for.
And this is something that you, again, teach us online.
Yeah, teach online. All of these, in fact, one of the things that we're doing is how do we make all this content available online? And we have YouTube as a platform that could enable every single person to just research and know things about digital marketing. So if you're a business who's trying to be present and be found online, let's say you know for a fact that people are looking for cheap tours in Davao. So alam mo na yun ang hinahanap. Meaning and certainly you would make your content to be relevant to what people are looking for. So you should have an insight about what people are looking for. Those moments that people are looking for, you need to be there.
In its mission to create a stronger digital economy in the Philippines, Google Philippines supports Google.org's grant to Digibayanihan, a digital literacy program designed to equip Filipinos with basic ICT and technical skills. In the next 18 months, Digibayanihan hopes to reach at least 1 million Filipinos in Visayas and Mindanao. Now, what else has Google Philippines planned to grow the digital economy in the Philippines? We find out from Ken when the Boardroom returns. You can Google almost anything today, but these questions, only this guy can answer. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Anthony.
Thank you for joining us. You're part of the sales team. And when you joined Google, did you fit a particular criteria? I mean, was there a culture? Was there a way of doing things that you had to match? Ganun ba rito yun? How did they connect you with the culture, and how does that work here?
Well, in Google, of course, we really value a lot of individuality. You know, like it's a very diverse group of people. Of course, you need to essentially be able to perform the functions of your work, of your duties, of the role you have. But aside from that, as long as you're able to really collaborate with everyone in your team, that should be fine.
How does it feel working with your colleague Ken?
One of the things I really appreciate about Ken is that, you know, he's coming from such a really deep and formidable marketing background, but he's always willing to share his knowledge, his wisdom. You know, he has a lot of experience to share with everyone in the team. So I really appreciate that he's always approachable. He's very down to earth. So it's something I really appreciate about his leadership style.
What is one thing about him that is, of course, encouraging and positive?
He's a lot funnier than you when you first meet him. he doesn't take himself very seriously. So that's something again also I appreciate about him.
Well, we're gonna test that.
Oh, you should test that.
Maraming
I
salamat,
would
Chief.
guarantee that.
Thank you very much. Go back to your work. We're gonna validate what this guy has to say about Ken as we continue our conversation with him. What about the team that you work with? They said you're funny raw. And,
Okay, let them be let them be the judge of that. But of course, I think I really want to create a very positive environment in the office. We have a tradition, not just in Philippines, but also for Google, which is TGIF. So every Friday, 4 o'clock, stop work, go to the cafeteria,
okay,
and
so
just
don't
enjoy.
call Google at Friday. On Fridays at 4 o'clock.
So much so that we have client partners now who would want to join us during this TGIF. So we want to do. I think we do several themes. So we have a French in our team, and we had one Friday which is all about a French theme. So we try to make it as fun as possible. We really want to really make it feel like a family. And as I said, we're the good thing is we're a small team here. Like I really feel that we are a startup within Google.
Let's go back to your mission. So beyond business, this Digibayanihan.
Yes.
What is behind this?
Yes. So as we said, one of the things that we're trying to do is how do we make the internet really benefit everyone? And one thing is access, but the other thing that we're trying to do with this partnership with Digibayanihan is how do we teach 1 million Filipinos in Visayas and Mindanao digital skills, as simple as how do you use a word processor? How do you use the internet? How do you search things? So these are, or how do you even use your email or Gmail? So these are now things or skills which we think are so fundamental, so basic, but there are still millions of Filipinos who are not educated about it.
Let's look even broader.
Yeah.
Okay? We are, second slowest internet tayo sa mundo.
Yes.
I mean, the infrastructure, isn't that a challenge to Google Philippines to meet its mission here in the Philippines?
You know, it is a challenge, although I could say that we've also made progress. Meaning, if you look at the last 5 years, we've practically doubled the number of people online. But the way we approach it is, first, it is a complex problem that can't be done by just one solution or one organization or one entity. It has to be working with different entities. And I think what is really important for us is how do we continue to work with different stakeholders, different partners, different organizations. It could be government, it could be OEMs or handset manufacturers, it could be telcos. So that's one part that we're doing. The other part that how we're looking or approaching the problem is how do we make sure that our products work even when internet is constrained.
Precisely.
So what we're doing is we're designing products. Like we've just recently had a feature for YouTube, which is YouTube Offline. So this allows you to offline the videos when you have internet, and when you don't have it, then you will be able to watch and enjoy those videos even without internet connectivity. That also applies in Google Maps. We have Google Maps Offline, and that allows you to look at directions even though you may not have internet connectivity. So even in the way we design our products, I think we're now acknowledging as Google that we need to develop products bottoms up if we want to have or to cater to the needs of the next billion users. So these kind of features are built for countries like us where connectivity could be constrained, but we still need to find a way to make it a great user experience for Pinoys.
Google has made a wide range of things accessible to us through technology, bringing us to places we've never been to and sites we only read about. Take, for example, Google Arts and Culture. Partnering with Intramuros, Google Philippines will now show the history and culture of the walled city online. What else has Ken planned to grow the Philippine presence online? We find out when the Boardroom returns. I was just looking at my house from Google Street View. Do you know that this program features a 360-degree panoramic imagery of any street or public place in over 77 countries? So whether you want to imagine a walk along Manila's Baywalk, or how you're going to navigate from a small lagoon to a large lagoon in Palawan, where I think this shell-inspired chair has come from, well, Google Street View is for you. As we continue our interview with Ken, we find out the image he has, the view he has for Google Philippines in the future. So how would you describe your world as managing director or as head of this company in the Philippines? What's the world of Ken like?
Okay.
You know?
So first and foremost, I think there's a lot of alignment also globally, particularly on mission, particularly in what we wanted to do. But you know, they give us also a lot of flexibility of what is needed, what is really right for the market. And I think the way I look at my business, or the way I look at the world, is I look at it as an ecosystem. It's not just about Google as a business, but how are we influencing or improving the experience of users? How are we improving or helping content creators be incentivized to put more content online? It's also about how do we now capture more content online with all our street view or undertaking to make sure that we capture a lot of the streets in the Philippines and to make it available online for people to see. So the way we look at it from users, from businesses, from developers, there are different stakeholders in the system and they're part of one ecosystem. So I think where my role would be is how do I also leverage the network within Google and finding ways and working with them to solve problems for the Philippines. So I may not be doing it itself, but at least my role is how could I say this is what is needed in the Philippines if we really want to have a thriving ecosystem, if we really want to be aligned with our mission, if we want to enable more people online and use our products, this is what is needed. So part of my role is also pitching and asking that this is what is needed, being clear about the asks in the Philippines and working with them to solve or look at opportunities here in the Philippines.
Can you just stress what is still the non-negotiable human side to technology or to building a digital business? What's the human side?
You know, if you think about also the way we work with businesses, ultimately it's all about relationships. And as much as we have email, we have smartphones to be able to, we say that it's really about connecting, but nothing beats a face-to-face connection. And when you really want to understand the needs of the business or your client or your customer, you'll not be able to do that just through online. It has to, if you want to build trust, that is built by being present, by being really face-to-face and asking the right questions, which you wouldn't be able to do by just an email or perhaps a phone call.
And your mission, personal, is you also want more talent, no? Involved in the industry. But when you say talent, it's not necessarily just IT guys.
Absolutely.
I mean, like you, FMCG guy, di ba?
Yes.
Can you tell me about this, the fact that you get people from totally different businesses to actually transfer to another business of no connection? How does that work?
So if I look at the internet or look at technology, the way we see it is it really levels the playing field for any business, for any developer, for any content creator. So I personally see internet could be a powerful game changer for businesses here in the Philippines, for developers here in the Philippines. However, given the fact that it is also a level playing field, we need to look at it as global, right? Meaning we're competing not just within the country, but also outside. So if we want to compete at a global level, we need to be really good at digital, at tech, and we need the great or top talent to also come into this industry. So how do we attract them early that people or young, like for example, graduating students would feel comfortable and attracted to tech, not just for Google, but all these other companies who are doing their, be it e-commerce, be it marketing tech or ad tech. We would want people to consider a career because the talent pipeline really comes from at a very young age.
So if you're to pitch to me now, I'm graduating, why I should get involved in the tech industry, what would be your main, or does it depend on who I am? And what would be your pitch? What would be the most important part of that pitch?
First and foremost, every single person now, every single industry is getting disrupted or perhaps getting changed by tech.
Right.
So if you're not immersed into this industry or you're not immersed in technology, you run the risk of being left behind or perhaps not being where the tide is going. So this is something that if you really want to future-proof your career or you want to really future-proof your business, certainly you need to look at how technology, understand it, and how it could apply to your business.
I want to close this interview with something that I asked you. Would be most interested to talk about as we close. Why would you say this is a very exciting time for us to be involved with technology?
Yes. So first is, if you look at where we stand right now, the number of people going online is almost like 10 million people, Pinoys, going online every single year. And that's an exciting time. When you have a massive user base who are online, the possibilities of what you could do with internet, be it a business, a user, or a content creator, is boundless. And for us, for Google Philippines, how could we empower every single Filipino to maximize technology, to transform their lives, but also to give back to society? That's what we're really excited about. And hopefully we'll be able to really pursue this mission here in the country.
So maraming salamat, Ken, on
Thank you,
behalf
Anthony. Maraming
of the
salamat,
Philippines to Google.
Yes.
And also for your time with us today.
Thank you. Thanks, Anthony. Maraming
Ken.
salamat. Thank you.
A search engine named Google and a person named Ken. Technology and the human being working together for a brighter future. Join me again next week as we engage some of the country's top business leaders, innovators, and executives. I'm Anthony Pangilinan, and this is The Boardroom. On to my next interview.